Hello, good morning and welcome. Right, today we're in a place called, bear with me, Fyne Court, F-Y-N-E. And it's more of a walk that I'm taking you on really, but there is some really interesting history to do with this place, which I'll go into as I'm walking around. I'm in recovery at the moment, if I'm being honest with you. I had a really sore throat the other night, you know, like you're swallowing razor blades. Wasn't a good feeling. And then I stayed up all night watching that American cereal bowl. You know, it's like an American sport, isn't it? Yet there were no American teams in the final. It was England against the Atlantic Ocean. Couldn't believe it. England won. Atlantic Ocean should have won, but, well, England cheated. We're good at that. It wasn't even a team which we'd been working on for years and years. It were a brand new one. A new England team. Really patriotic they were. So Fyne Court, it's like a big estate which was owned by the Crosse family for over 300 years. And the most interesting of the Crosse family was Andrew Crosse. Now, I know you've never heard of him, but I'm going to tell you all about the guy. If you've heard of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, it's something to do with that. So I'll move on to Andrew Crosse later on. Now, I've just come to this bit here. Now, there's no information boards around here because the National Trust have just taken it back over. They've owned it for many years, but they rented it out to the local county something or other. I don't know what they did. Anyway, first thing I've come across, and this is quite interesting, and someone's going to have to tell me because I'm stupid. I've taken you to a lot of stone circles before, but here's a wooden circle. Not old, but it's interesting because every single one has got writing on it. And I'm not 100% sure what they are. To start with, I thought they were clouds. Nimbus stratus, cumulus, stratus, Cirrus, Leo, Orion, Aquila, and Cassiopeia. What are these star formations or are the clouds? Am I being stupid? I think the star formations, aren't they? Orion is. Leo, I think, is. I don't know. Somebody tell me, please. I feel really thick right now. So Andrew Crosse was born in 1784 and he was interested in anything electrical. Anything to do with thunder and storms and electricity. Now, when was electricity invented? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So as you can imagine, back in the early 1800s when Andrew Crosse starts doing all this electricity stuff, people were a bit wary about it. They couldn't understand all these wires on his property and all these sparks and booms. Apparently it was making booms like cannons, the sound of cannons, and all these sparks from the electricity, and people just couldn't understand it because nobody really knew anything about electricity back then. He got himself the nickname the Thunder and Lightning Man and the Wizard of Broomfield. So the locals didn't know how to take Andy. They thought it was like summoning the devil with all the sparks coming out of his estate. They thought that it was summoning the devil to come and dance on earth or something, as people did back then. They were very superstitious. One thing which Andrew Crosse said, which really fascinates me, he said this at a dinner party. He said, "By means of the electric agent we shall be enabled to communicate our thoughts instantaneously with the utmost parts of the earth." Basically, he was predicting the internet, if you like. Telephones. He saw visions of all this by the use of electricity, and this was in 1816. So Andrew Crosse used to do experiments. He used to give lectures in schools, and he'd give them electric shocks just to show them the power of electricity. And after he left, he graduated Oxford University, he came back here, right here, and he hung around all the trees 1¼ miles of copper wiring, and had it all going, linked up to his house, to the music room in the house, where people would hear and see sparks and big booms coming out of there on foggy days and rainy days and stormy days, when the electricity was leading back to the music room. So all these experiments were going on with electricity in Andrew's home. 20 years earlier, Mary Shelley released the book Frankenstein. That was 20 years before he started making these experiments at home. So, how could he be the inspiration for Frankenstein, really? Shelley said that in 1814 they went to a lecture about electricity. Now, it could very, very well be that it was Andrew Crosse who was giving this lecture, which gave Mary Shelley the inspiration for this. And it makes sense. The guy was clearly a nutcase about electric and creating a monster. I didn't know this until I've just read it, but Andrew Crosse was also a poet. Some very famous poets came to see Andrew Crosse, as they were fellow poets. You had Samuel Taylor Coleridge and William Wordsworth. Oh yes, they both came here. They both came right where I'm standing. How cool is that? Now, oddly enough, I was thinking of taking you to the house where this Samuel Coleridge was born, or lived, should I say. But it's closed today, so I don't think I'm going to bother going there. But yeah, this is where a lot of poets are coming from, this particular area. Now, I don't do art, I don't do poetry. Poetry is just like art, but 20 times worse, isn't it? But seeing as we're talking about poetry, I suppose I should read one of his poems. So this is called Spring by Andrew Crosse. Whoe'er owns a heart, now let it expand. All hail to the blossoms that bloom o'er the land. All hail to the fragrance that floats on the gale. All hail to the songster that skims through the vale. Off cares and vexations I'll fling ye away, and though ye'll come back, ye shall not come today. In the meads I will reveal what fate may assign. I toss to the winds, this day shall be mine. By Andrew Crosse. Honestly, Andrew, it's rubbish. Stick to your electricity, mate. In 1894, when Andrew died, 40 years after he died, should I say, the house here burnt down, unfortunately. They think that the fire started when a maid was heating up her curling tongs and she left a candle unattended. Curling tongs, isn't that for doing your hair or something? You know, destroyed a really nice house just for making your hair look good. Women. I think there's a good chance that she got sacked. So this obviously isn't original, but what they've done here, they've put a telegraph pole up in the trees there. You can just see it. And you can imagine Andrew Crosse would have had these all around the woods with wire attaching them all. A bit like you get telephone wires now, I suppose. I have never seen this on a tree before, have you? Completely spiralled tree. This is fallen down. It's quite big. It's about 5 foot wide. But all the way along, it's twisted. Very strange. So the weather changed, it started belting it down, so I headed back to my youth hostel. It's become lovely again, but it's due to be showers all day, so I'm too far away from anywhere else I could go today now, so I'm just going to leave on the charity, tell you who's donated how much. This is going to take a while because there's been so many donations in the last 48 hours. So here we go. Rocky Balboa, $30. Thank you so much, Rocky. I'm a big fan. I really am. Lee and Liz from Lowestoft, £10. Sue H, £10. Paul Lister, £15. Pete and Steph, £10. Al Kisak, £5. Anonymous, £30. Steve Kielman, €10. Derek, £10. Daniel Rotgas, £20. Whew, a few anonymouses. Jeff Nemeth, $15. Nick, well done Nick Mullis, City Country Lad, £10. Steve Shepherd, $200. Now Steve asked me to, he basically said, if I donate this money, if you give me a shout out, I'll donate this money. I says, hang on a minute Steve, you donate the $200 and I'll give you the shout out. So I have to do this now. A shout out to Sutton United for beating Leeds 1-0. Should have been 4-0. Playing Arsenal in the next round. Very well done Sutton. I'm from Bradford area. I were a bit of a big Bradford fan at one point, and I've been to watch Leeds, so I'm right behind you. Yeah, let's beat Leeds. So thank you, Steve. Oliver, £20. Aussie Steve, $24.40. Anonymous, $100. Colin Reed, £5. Colin, £75. Coggy Dubus, £10. Geordie and Beans, $20. Jennifer Whitesides, $20. Ken Vesely, $20. Whew. Damien Jones, £10. Stu, £10. Ria Reynard, £10. And Simon Philby from Lowestoft, £10. Thank you all so much. That's how many people have donated. And there's a few anonymouses as well in the last 48 hours. So the last time I mentioned I'd like to get us to £28,000 raised. We've actually raised £28,513 for Rays of Sunshine. So bless you all. Thank you so much. That keeps me going, you know, knowing people are still supporting what I'm doing in the cause. It means so much. So thank you so much. Please still consider donating by clicking on the links in the description. Go to diggingthecourse.com and give all that you can. And apparently in America you're getting your tax returns or something back at the moment. You're getting money which you weren't expecting back. So please consider just giving a bit of that to the charity. You know, I know, you know, if you get $500 and you weren't expecting it, maybe you could give $100 of that to this charity. Just an idea. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. That's it for today. Yeah, the rain stopped play. It's beautiful now. It's beautiful. I'll see you all bright and early tomorrow morning on Digging the Course 365. I wonder where we'll go next. Goodbye.
If you'd like to donate to Rays of Sunshine, simply click the link in the description below and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.